Hello everyone, John Marshall, the DrillMaster. Sorry about that other video. I had some wires crossed and no audio, so it was completely useless. What I'm going to do though is trying to compress, because if you've watched my videos before, you know how much I like to talk. I'm going to try and compress everything as I thought of it in the other video. All right, so I need to go over this. I'll put a link down below to this. Let's go. Well, it doesn't matter. To this article. So we have. This is my article. There's it's the exhibition drill application levels. Okay. And this is for an exhibition performance. It doesn't necessarily apply to regulation drill, although it can, but in a very specific way. This is measuring creativity. And not only creativity, it measures everything as it fits together nicely. So we have beginning, intermediate, and advanced skills. Of those beginning, intermediate, and advanced skills, we have drill, body work, footwork, and equipment work. All right, now if we're going unarmed, then obviously we would not have that equipment work there. So this right here, with the equipment work, much higher than every other part of the whole concept here. This is usual, and this is just an indicator. It's just an example. Everything else is beginning here. Equipment is advanced. That would be extraordinarily unusual. It might happen, but it would be very unusual to have everything else still at the beginning level. So, but when you start out spinning a rifle, this is how you look, though. And I'm not talking about everybody's advanced, but I'm talking about everything else is here down at the beginning level. You're not really concentrating on it. You're concentrating on the rifle work, and you're advancing your rifle work up from the beginning level into the intermediate and then into the advanced eventually. So you can have maybe one or two advanced moves eventually, maybe within a year, possibly two of spinning. You could get into the breakthrough into that advanced realm to where you have maybe a couple of moves. Most are going to be in the intermediate stage because you're advancing through that. And then you start working on footwork, body work, and drill. Having it unbalanced, it's not wrong to have it unbalanced, okay? And when I get into the audio, I'll talk about what I'm saying, what I'm identifying isn't necessarily wrong or right. That's not a concept that we deal with in exhibition drill. What we're dealing with is less effective, more effective, and then also with these four. And I wish I had movable scales here, but with these four pieces of what a judge is supposed to look for and what you're supposed to design for, and see, this is a concept that many don't understand, is that all of this is what you're supposed to be designing for. You're supposed to be designing for drill and some body work and footwork and equipment movement. Now, when we move over to here, unarmed, body work is going to be most likely much more involved than rifle spinning. The rifle is what takes most of the show, if I can say that. Your drill is going to have everything's going to have a part. I won't list everything again. So everything has a part there. Now, what you'll hear me say in this video is that there are big disparities in some instances, and we'll get into that now as I judge the performance. And let's go. Oh, of course, I hit the wrong button. There we go. All right. So here, boy, I was really profound in the last video. Really. All right. Let's get past that. There we go. Okay. So it's quite possibly a Flanagan Rifles thing to start off with hands, and I've never appreciated this look. And it's nothing against Flanagan rifles or and now I forgot the soloist's last name, and I don't know if I even pronounced it correctly. Anyway, I've never appreciated this type of look with the crossover. It just, this I'm used to because of my ceremonial drill work, and it just, this here, it just looks odd to me. And it's just me, okay? That's it. Just looks odd to me, and you don't have to change it just because I think it looks odd. All right, so you have head down, you've got that stance, and it looks like it's the same stance right here. It looks like it. So I'm going to be judging. For those of you who might be new, this is this young man right here, this cadet at Marmion Academy. Part of Flanagan Rifles. He's doing a solo. So the head's down. Judge's head is down. Interesting. Anyway, his head's down. Now, you'll see in just a second, he looks over. Okay, so you have to go from here to here, back, and then you begin your routine. So it just doesn't communicate well. It doesn't come off. This is more of a this is a very informal beginning, and as a judge, I wouldn't be standing like this. I'd be standing looking at you, and I've got my score sheet filled out, what I need to have filled out, but I have my signature on the bottom of my score sheet ready to go, and I'm waiting. And then I have to wait for you to look up. And so that's not something that really comes across well. My suggestion then is, instead of doing this, you do this. Stand in this position if you want to. Don't put your head down. Putting your head down cuts off communication. I tell this to law enforcement and firefighters every single time I teach casket watch. Stop putting your head down. It cuts off communication. And you never know when you're going to need to communicate. In that instance, here, you know when you're going to need to communicate, and looking up and checking every once in a while, that's not a thing to do. It just doesn't work well. So stand, look at the judge, and then move from that position. Don't move over, assume this position, and then start from here. Come to attention and do whatever you're going to do. Movement to the right, however that's going to be. Design something and then move on. All right, so you step forward. Now, it's quite possible that you have to step within the boundary line to begin the performance, to have it judged. An opening statement is what you need. There's 7 parts of the exhibition drill routine. One of those parts is an opening statement. Now, whether the opening statement is allowed outside of the marked off area, or it must be inside, not exactly sure in this case. Many competitions allow that opening statement to happen right there outside of the boundary, and then you can move in and continue with your performance. I would suggest the opening statement happen right when you come to attention. You do your thing right then and there, instead of the stepping forward. The stepping forward really doesn't make any sense unless it's required to be in the boundary. So I'll just give you that there. Okay. Why'd you go to right shoulder? Does it enhance? Now, and I'm not asking questions for you to answer specifically. Well, explain it to me. I don't need the explanation. Sorry about the sunlight coming through my window. It's actually nice here in the morning in Florida. So I don't need the reasoning behind. I need you to think, does this performance require me, this part of the performance anyway, does it require me to go to right shoulder? Because everybody else can go to right shoulder? Is there something different that I can do? So you did you had a static toss, then you went into a marching toss. Nice variation there. That works really well. But the right shoulder, is that something? Now, let's go back to, hold on just a second. Let's go back to here. So, the equipment work. Are you going to, so far you're at the intermediate stage, are you going back to the beginning stage of, and there's, again, not right, not wrong, there's nothing wrong with doing something in the beginning stage. It's just that, does it work for you? Does it actually enhance the performance? If so, great, keep it. I don't know that it does, because you start out fairly strong with that intermediate work. And then you dip back down into beginning. So, and you can do that flow of intermediate, advanced, back to intermediate, maybe even beginning. It all depends on what you're designing here. So it's just something for you to consider. And I love the you backing into that. That was just great. Excuse me. Had you caught the rifle dead on with it being horizontal, that would have just been absolutely perfect. But the flanking movement to the left, reversing into the flank, the toss as you're backing up, excellent job. That really worked well. Going back to that scale that I developed, that is high intermediate. Excuse me, high intermediate footwork. And that's a good design process there, good thinking for that. Now, the facing movement, and then you purposefully making sure that you are centered. This is the facing movement and the movement over to the center line is very. So there are 3 levels of beginning, intermediate, and advanced. There's lower, middle, and upper for each of the 3. The facing movement is lower beginning. The movement over to the center line is pretty much middle beginning. This is very first year. I'm developing my routine, and I'm going to go through the manual of arms and do a couple of spins. The rifle's going to get away from me, but I'm going to make sure that I'm right in front of the judge here, and then I'm going to execute a facing movement and then go off this way. And so these are things that you start to, as you progress through your performance years, you want to start to leave those things behind, making sure that you're dead on and purposefully, unless you actually happen to hit it right there, that you are dead on with facing the judge. Fine, that's no problem. But to purposefully execute a facing movement after that great movement to the left, backing up, reversing, a reverse toss there, this then just goes boom. You're right back down to, I'm a freshman and I just created this routine. That's what's coming across. That's what's being communicated. Now you caught and you bent your knees. You're bending over at the waist to create that toss as well, and that's not communicating strength and power. It's, you have a certain level there, but it could be more. It could be better. Nice angled slide there. That really worked, especially with the rifle. Let's go back to here. This work, both of those stops, the horizontal stop, foot spread there, the vertical stop, coming back to attention and then moving, that could have added great effect there. Very well done. Some really good spinning, although here, there, there, that right hand was just kind of dangling and waiting to be used instead of, and when I'll go back to first year designing your routine, you want to pin your hands, your free hands. If you're just spinning with this, with the left, you've got to pin the right and make sure that it is pinned solidly. As you advance through creation and design, then you want to have some purposeful movement with that free hand. Sometimes, not all the time, it's not necessary, but it does enhance the performance when you have purposeful movement with that free hand. And whether it's opposite movement or whether it's tandem movement, either one you want to do. And see, as you're concentrating and you're marching, and so that right arm is just kind of, it's right there. You're not swinging it, you're not pinning it, it's just, it's there. But the single hand OTH while you're marching, really well done. Love this. Look at how flat the rifle is. Excellent job on the spin there. But a facing movement. So you go from you're breaking into advanced work, and then you execute a facing movement. And again, it's not wrong. What I'm saying isn't right necessarily. What I'm saying is not identifying where you're wrong or right. It's just less effective when you have this great OTH as you're marching. Right arm needs to do something. You have the OTH, then you launch it up, you catch, bring it down into, excuse me, you catch it, bring it down, spin, stop, and then facing movement. It doesn't flow well, and so it can flow much, much better. And you kind of caught, and then you brought the rifle down to a kneeling position. Why are you kneeling here? Is it to enhance something in the routine? Butt slams for an entire platoon are awesome. They work every single time. Another butt slam. And that static OTH, horizontal OTH launch, that was nice. And then why are you pausing here as well? How do these moments enhance the routine? Now, for audience reaction, when a driller performs and does something just wild, does that flat OTH and then spins around 3 times and then catches and looks at the judge just with that determination, then yeah, audience reaction, you're going to pause and let everybody go, "Whoa, that was fantastic." Here, that's not happening. Now, not that wasn't an absolutely fantastic move that you just did with the OTH, that flat OTH, but you have a crowd here. Many in the crowd are going to just remain completely silent because they don't want to interrupt your train of thought, which is actually probably a good thing at the high school level. Others will just, and just keep whooping and hollering because they know that it's probably not going to break your concentration. But we human beings are used to going to a performance, something like this, and being deadly quiet. And we listen to the singer, we listen to the ballet artist, we watch the ballet artist, excuse me, and this is a type of visual performance where your audience is just going to sit there and go, "Wow, that was fantastic," but they don't want to disturb the effect for anybody else, so it's all going on in their mind, and it's not going to be all that forthcoming. So you need to make sure that the butt slam there didn't work because you hit it on the toe. It ricocheted back. Although it kind of worked for the initiation into the toss. But the butt slams, what I was saying before, anytime a platoon does a butt slam, works. I would say 99.9% of the time. It doesn't matter where it is. It's going to work because it's a platoon. And it just has that effect in the platoon. When you come to a soloist, butt slams are almost useless. Almost. Not saying that your butt slams here are useless. It's just that they don't communicate well. Why did you do it? That's the question that comes across. Platoon, yep, get it. Soloist, not so much. When you began, sure, understand that. You want to grab the audience's attention both audibly and also visually. Nice job. That was just great. And that was good to pause there. The other two pauses I'm not so sure about. And this, all I have to ask is, what on earth was that? Is it because you passed center line that you backed up? Was this not planned? It looks like you made a mistake and you went a couple of steps past center line, and then you thought, "Oh crud, I got to get back to center." Being the first year exhibition driller, going back, you got to go back to center, and then I must about face and then go to present arms. That type of very, very beginning methodology. You're going through all of these. Okay, I must do this. I must do this. I must do this. If it was a mistake, plan for the mistake. Not necessarily this mistake, but plan to have mistakes happen, so that even if you drop the rifle, you're able to pick it up in such a unique way that the judge is going, "Oh, wait a minute. Did he actually plan that?" Or, "Well, no, on the sheet, if you lose, okay, yeah. All right, so we're going to have to count that as a drop, but wow, you're leaving me wondering here." That's a good thing. Leave the judge wondering. That really works well. And then the judge can come over and go, "It was a drop, wasn't it?" "Yeah, it was a drop." "Man, you recovered really well. That was fantastic. Good job." So it's your recovery here. If that was a mistake, your recovery is it's non-existent. You move, you catch, and then you come back. And now you're on the center line. Nice work there. Why are you at a kneeling position just to do that? For a platoon, again, that would work really well, but as a soloist, not everything that your team performs works for the solo. The kneel just doesn't seem to make sense there. And so you have a butt slam that brings the rifle back up, you set it down, and then you awkwardly, unfortunately, reach across and then salute. And I appreciate the position here. The stance is good. It's just how you get there isn't as effective as it could be. Well, I tried to compress this this critique, but sorry, I'm pretty much the same time. So here, I was thinking, awesome. Okay, what are you're not doing anything. All right, so you then begin to perform out. I loved the bringing the rifle back behind you. It's Queen Anne salute-esque, and I appreciate that. But then you just start marching straight. Everybody can march straight. Everybody can execute a right flank. When I say everybody, I mean everybody in at this level. So you need to stick out. You need to be unique at this level, at your level, and make the judge remember what you do by something that's unique. You had that awesome back into that left turn there. Can't really call it a flank necessarily because it was reversed into, but you get the idea at the beginning there when you crossed right in this area. But here it's just a right flank. You're back down to very parochial, very beginning, and there you go. Now the butt slam at the very end, that worked. That was good. Although the team's drowning you out, that's fine. But still, so the performance, you can see. Hopefully, I've explained it well enough. You can see where you're slightly advanced in some parts with the rifle work, intermediate with much of your rifle work. But then you are very basic in your drill design, very basic in your footwork. And so you need to bring all of those up so they are about the same level to make the sum of all the parts create a much more powerful whole. Because everything in that, the drill, the body work, the footwork, the rifle work, all of those parts interplay with each other. And the design should reflect that interplay. I don't think you're quite there yet. I think you could keep this performance and delve deep into every single section, the 7 parts of an exhibition drill routine, and then be able to create something even more effective than what you have here. Still, this is very well done. It's thought out. And and for what you've designed here, it works well for you. You didn't have any massive mistakes. It shows that you've put in tons of hard work. The step over of the center line, not exactly sure what went on there, but that's okay to leave the judge wondering. It's for you to understand and work with in the coming competition year. So I hope my comments have been helpful. If you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you.